Shalom from Jerusalem. This is Uriel, Independent News, Yerushalayim, Israel. Sir, what do you think about the terrorists that were released a few days ago back into free society?
I'm going to tell you one thing. I think that if people that killed other people get outside of jail and they don't serve the time that they need, it's stupidity. I'm sorry to tell that to the government of Israel, but it's stupidity. Because tomorrow somebody can write something on a note and he just can't tear it up. And this is like lying in your face. That's all the question, and this is the answer I have.
You know, you were telling me that your second cousin was killed by some of these terrorists that were released. What do you have to say about that?
I told you between us that in the case of Gilad Shalit, if they would ask me to do that, I would accept it because it's one of our people. And I think you should do that to bring back soldiers. But in the case that you just sign on a paper and you don't do anything for peace, not in my country, not for me. And I'm very sad because it's like, you know, it's like killing my cousin, my second-degree cousin again. It opens the blood in our heart again.
Your second cousin was killed by one of these terrorists that were released the other day?
Yeah. Actually, they were a group. I think there were 2 or 3 because he was with his friend and they were
in Ramot?
Yes.
This happened in Ramot?
Yes, in Ramot.
And these terrorists that were released into Ramallah or Gaza were the ones that killed your second cousin?
Exactly.
And how do you feel to know that these terrorists are going to go back into free society after the heinous crime that they did against your cousin?
I will answer with a small sentence. Just give me 1 hour with these bastards and I will show you what I think about them. I don't need even an hour. 10 minutes is enough. Cut them alive like they do in Syria. I'm not against violations, but if it's somebody that murdered somebody from my family, that's what I think. I hope that everything that I say is not against the law, but that's what I'm feeling as a family member. That's it.
Well, the Torah says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but we have to really understand the entire concept of that meaning. But I believe personally that if anyone does any terror attacks against Israel and kills Jews, I don't think they should be held in prisons. I personally think that they should be given the death penalty, and I'm for the death penalty for crimes like this.
Exactly. You know something, in the Arab countries, if you steal something, they cut your hands off. If you do something else, I don't want to say, but there is other crimes, they just hang you or shoot you or whatever. They do it in publicly. And also you can see in the internet what they do in Syria, for example. I hate the hypocrisy of the UN, because if something happens in the territories, they come to Israel and they say, what do you do? But there's more than 2 years a war in Syria, and Assad just killed everybody, and they're like sitting.
Over 100,000 Arabs have been killed in Syria.
People, not Arabs. You know what?
Well, people. Okay, we'll call them people, but they're known as Arabs who live there. And I'm against people being killed for no reason whatsoever, only because they wanted elections and a democracy or whatever they wanted.
Exactly.
And yet this regime led by Assad and Nasrallah up in Lebanon basically continued to kill many Jews. So your second cousin was killed by these terrorists that were released, and now they're back into free society. We hope and pray that these terrorists will not basically go back to terrorizing or killing more Jews.
I would say that I pray for something else for them, but I'll keep my mouth shut because it's not good to say that. But just letting them walk on the street, if I would have seen one of the assassins in the street, you know what I'm going to do. But it's in Ramallah and I cannot do anything. And listen, I'm a civilian that keeps the law, you know. And I expect my country that if there's a law and somebody does something against the law, give them a court-martial. And court-martial, you know, in court-martial, they're going to be dead. I don't understand. We have a court martial here for terrorists. Why the court martial does not decide on a hanging or something like that? Because if you hang one, they will not do it again because they know I'm doing that. I'm facing a death penalty.
What was the name of your cousin that was killed?
Ronen Karamani.
Ronel?
Ronen Karamani.
Ronen Karamani. He was killed by one of these terrorists or two of these terrorists that were released back into free society. This is real, independent news. Yerushalayim, Israel.